It all started on a rainy Monday morning, the kind that made the world look gray, tired, and unforgiving. In the corner of the high school courtyard, a frail girl sat alone, holding her lunch tray, head covered in a pink scarf that barely hid the signs of chemotherapy. Her name was Maya Thompson. 15 years old, quiet, gentle, and too brave for her age. A group of loud students laughed across the table. The leader, a tall boy named Ethan, tossed a piece of bread in her direction and smirked. "Hey, scarf girl," he said cruelly. "What's under there? Hiding your bald spot." The group burst into laughter. Maya's trembling hands gripped the edge of her tray, her eyes filling with silent tears. But she said nothing. What they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the man picking her up from school every day wasn't just a quiet dad. He was Commander David Thompson, a decorated Navy SEAL who had spent 2 decades rescuing hostages, facing enemy fire, and surviving impossible missions. And when he learned what those kids had done to his daughter, the world inside that school would never be the same again. Maya used to be full of life, drawing, dancing, and staying up late telling her mom jokes until they cried from laughter. But after her cancer diagnosis 8 months ago, everything changed. Her mother, Angela, tried to stay strong, though the dark circles under her eyes told a different story. Her father was stationed overseas for most of her treatment, serving his last mission before retirement. Maya lost her hair, she lost her energy, but she never lost her spirit. Returning to school after months of chemo was supposed to make her feel normal again, but it didn't. The stares, the whispers, the pity, and worst of all, the cruelty. At first, Ethan and his group just whispered as she passed. "She looks like she's dying," one said. "She's probably contagious," another joked. It started as words, then came the shoves in the hallway, the accidental spills on her books, and the cruel laughter when she dropped her lunch tray. Maya tried to hide it from her parents. She didn't want her dad, finally home after years of deployments, to worry. She'd smile every evening when he asked about her day, saying, "It was fine, Dad," though her eyes told the truth he didn't yet see. But David Thompson wasn't a man easily fooled. He had seen soldiers lie through pain, civilians hide trauma, and hostages pretend to be fine to survive. He knew something was wrong with his daughter. That night, after she went to bed, he found her scarf on the couch, wet with tears. His fists tightened. The soldier inside him awoke. The next morning, Maya walked into school again, trying to be invisible. But Ethan didn't stop. He smirked, called her cancer girl, and yanked her scarf off. The cafeteria gasped. Her head, bare, fragile, and beautiful, was exposed under the fluorescent lights. Maya froze. Her lunch tray fell to the ground. Ethan laughed. "Whis, she's auditioning for the next Alien movie." For a moment, the whole cafeteria was silent. Then laughter. Maya ran. She didn't stop until she reached the bathroom, locking herself in a stall and sobbing quietly, clutching her scarf to her chest. That evening, she didn't eat. She didn't talk. But when her dad came to her room and saw her face, pale and swollen from crying, she couldn't hold it anymore. "They took my scarf," she whispered. "They said I looked like a freak." David's jaw tightened. He felt something dark rise in his chest. The same fire he used to feel before going into battle. But he didn't yell. He simply hugged her, kissed her forehead, and said softly, "No one hurts my little girl." He spent the night awake, scrolling through the school's social media. There it was, a video. Ethan laughing, Maya crying, thousands of views, comments, cruel jokes. He turned off his phone. His next breath came slow and deep, the kind he took before missions. The next morning, he put on his old Navy SEAL jacket and drove Maya to school. But this time, he didn't just drop her off. David parked outside the school, his expression calm but his eyes cold, the kind of calm that made even hardened soldiers step back. Maya didn't know what he planned, but he told her quietly, "Go to class. I'll handle this." Inside the main office, he introduced himself to the principal, Carter. His voice was low but firm. "My daughter's been bullied here for weeks. I've seen the videos. I want names." The principal stammered, tried to talk about school protocol, but David interrupted, not loud, just steady. "I'm not here to argue. I'm here to protect my daughter. You have 20 minutes to bring me those boys and their parents." And she did. 30 minutes later, Ethan and his 2 friends, Josh and Tyler, sat in the office with their parents. Their smirks faded when David walked in. His posture was straight, controlled. But the look in his eyes made the room silent. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. Instead, he pulled out his phone, played the video, and said calmly, "This is my daughter, the bravest person I know. She's been fighting cancer. She's stronger than all of you combined, and you thought it was funny to humiliate her." Ethan looked down. His father opened his mouth, but David's voice cut through like steel. "I served this country for 20 years. I've seen men die protecting people they don't even know. And you couldn't even find it in your heart to show kindness to a sick girl." Silence filled the room. Even the parents were ashamed. Mrs. Carter, with tears in her eyes, said softly, "Mr. Thompson, I'll make sure this never happens again." David stood, looked at the boys one last time and said, "You don't need to fear me, but you'll learn to respect her." He turned to leave, but then paused. "And you'll apologize to her, publicly." That afternoon, the entire cafeteria went silent as Ethan stood in front of everyone, shaking, and said, "Maya, I'm sorry. We were wrong." Maya sat quietly, unsure what to do. Then the most unexpected thing happened. Other students stood and clapped, not in mockery this time, but in genuine support. One by one they came forward, handing her notes, hugs, and smiles. For the first time in months, Maya smiled too. Weeks passed. The bullying stopped. Ethan joined a volunteer program helping kids with cancer, a decision he made after seeing Maya's quiet strength. Maya's treatment went well. Her cancer went into remission. Her father, finally at peace, returned home each night knowing his daughter was no longer fighting her battles alone. And though life wasn't perfect, something had changed, not just for Maya, but for everyone who witnessed that day. Because kindness, courage, and dignity, when shown even in the darkest moments, can transform even the cruelest hearts.